हेलो देयर और आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है नो मी बेटर पॉडकास्ट के फर्स्ट एपिसोड में। और आज हमारे साथ हैं नन अदर देन प्लैंगल स्टूडियोज। और आज के इस पॉडकास्ट में हम कई सारी चीज़ों को डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, लाइक इंडियन एनिमेशन, जापानीज एनिमेशन, इंडियन एनिमेटर्स और प्लैंगल स्टूडियो ने अपनी जर्नी कैसे स्टार्ट की थी और वो फ्यूचर में क्या क्या करने वाले हैं। और एनिमेशन से रिलेटेड कई सारे हमने इसमें बातें की हैं। सो लेट्स हॉप राइट इनटू
You have a good voice. You should try voiceovers, I guess.
I think one of the things that I'm always conscious about is my voice.
Oh my
I,
God.
I don't know how it sounds on the phone, but
Yeah.
if you say so, then I might try to. Actually, I was planning on doing a couple of YouTube stuff because I'm so much interested in film and technology and all that,
Yeah.
especially analysis in film. So that's something I plan to do. Do reviews of actual TV series that I watch, and do in-depth analysis of acting and cinematography and what I liked about it. And like for example,
Mhm.
I've watched Game of Thrones at least 4 or 5 times. I watched
Oh my
Breaking
God.
Bad 5 times. So I'm
Mm.
not saying I've watched it. I've binge watched it. I've watched it over, I think now 5 years. Like I've watched it multiple times for multiple things.
Have you watched Peaky Blinders? It is like a British
Peaky
drama.
Blind.
Yeah.
I have not yet watched, but it is there like couple of things on my list.
Mm.
There are a couple of dramas which you need a mindset to watch in. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's like Alienist, Peaky Blinders. It's like one of those things. Like you can't jump from like a Game of Thrones to another Game of Thrones. You need a little Breaking Bad in it.
Yeah. No,
So
I can
yes,
understand.
yes. Thank you. I might definitely try. So I started in animation almost 10 years back.
10
Uh, I-
years.
yeah.
Okay, that's a long time. That's a really, really long time.
Now it's 2020, right? So when I graduated, I was one of the first batches in India which did BSc in animation,
Okay.
right? So I did my PCMB, so physics, chemistry, maths, and biology. I did my plus two in Bangalore. I completed my studies, and then I decided that I would get into animation. But then the formal training for animation didn't exist, right? And animation, people didn't know what it meant, whether it was hand-drawn 2D, whether it was 3D, whether it was just editing and getting everything was called animation,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
So it is still now called the same thing. Everything is called animation. So when
Hmm.
I got into this course, they divided the course into 4 years and 3 years, and it was foundation art and then study and all that. Took 3 years and completed a small project. This was in 2000, I think 6 or 7 that I
Oh.
completed BSc animation. So then recession hit badly in India. You know the 2008 recession that hit right in India, and
Uh,
I think this was like before Corona's sort of, you
yeah,
know.
okay. I remembered it. Yeah.
So 2008 crash that happened. There were news that now would not be the right time, and then the dollar value also had fallen a lot
Yeah.
during that time. So it was a chance that I could go abroad and do my masters, and that would be a good timing to explore. What are the other avenues out there. So having gone through the 3-4 years course here, I thought there's so much knowledge that was not being shared by, or not enough knowledge had been taught in college or school. So I did my masters in visual effects from UK. So I did my
Okay.
MA in visual effects from a university called Bournemouth. It's in a place called Bournemouth in the UK.
Okay.
So I completed my master's there in visual effects, or digital effects, it's called. And then I spent almost 7 years in London working in film and television as a feature film compositor. So I was doing mostly drama series, and I was doing compositing for TV series and commercials, and as well as some of feature films. So during my time, I did a lot of different work. I did 3D, I did 2D compositing, I did rotoscoping, cleanup, and all that. But then for a long time, I was not doing something very creative. And at that point of time, it sort of sparked that maybe if we really need to create, we need to go back to we either need to do it in the UK, or we need to go back to our hometown and create a studio and do some sort of content development. That was the thought. But at that time we didn't know what the market had or what the market wanted.
Yeah.
So me and my wife basically at that time I had gotten married, and
Hmm.
we both decided to try out a couple of international trade shows. So I've visited South Korea for an animation marketplace event, and I've also
Okay.
visited France for another animation related event where a lot of international what do you say broadcasters come to that place, and there they have sort of they buy content or they sell content. Like you have like a trade show for animation that was, and
This is a story, some kind of like you can literally make an animate anime on this. You know that?
yeah, you've yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what is your envision? Like, what is a future plan?
Let's set up a studio and then let's make let's do this back home in India where we have all our resources. So we came back to Bangalore. We actually planned to do it in Bangalore, but then Bangalore is very expensive, very
Hmm.
congested, and it's very difficult to get from point A to point B. So we came to Bangalore, and Bangalore is a very very tiny small city. Very few people. Like now it's becoming bigger, but it is good to have our family around here and have a studio in the same place. So our vision here was that we take local talent, right?
Yeah.
Have I have the international experience? I've had my friends work in Disney, Pixar, and ILM, and DNEG, and Film Store, and a lot of good places, and I've taken
Okay.
experiences of all of them as well, and thought that why not create a place in Mangalore where we can we can do what a Hollywood or what a California studio can do right here. That is definitely something we can do. So our vision was to find the artist. The talent has always been there. The traditional painting,
Yeah. Yeah.
sketching talent has always been there.
Hmm.
Our idea was that we take the talent, we train them into something that expands the vision into a more broader sense of what they can create for the world rather than what they create for themselves, right? And
Okay.
the whole idea was that I have grown up watching, and most of my team people also have grown up watching Tom and Jerry, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Quest,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Scooby Doo, a lot of the older hand drawn animation that used to be there. So we've sort of
Yeah.
grown like that, and I thought that using the current technology, using open source network, how could we do 2D animation, and how much time it would take. So it was basically an experiment. Our first short film was basically an experiment to understand how this technology works, or what kind of skill set do we have. So once we completed that short film, we realized that 2D animation is very, very, very hard. We always have perspective issues, turnaround issues. We saw that there were too many complex issues that arose with doing 2D animation. So taking that as a base, we planned that okay, if that is something that we do, the next thing is we take this skill set and we try to create some sort of intellectual property for India. That was the idea. That we know that there is a market
Why
around the
did you
world.
choose India? Like, you could have like made any studio outside India.
The idea was that most of the ideas around the world are already are all getting such. Like you have the Norse mythology, you have that, you have the American sort of Marvel and
Yeah.
all that. So we wanted to see how can we do something Indian, right? I know that traditionally there is Mahabharata and Ramayana, and that's
Yep. Yep.
always what people have told and have done. So we
Hmm.
wanted to see it from a non-religion point of view, right? How
Yeah.
do we sidestep the religion that's happening in India, in
Hmm.
in the sense whatever content is being created happens around it, and how do we sidestep and create our own, science fiction idea? So the whole intellectual property idea came from that. Why can't we create an anime sort of visual,
Yeah.
but based in India? Like, why can't that happen to the
Like
studio?
too hard to survive as an like independent studio.
Yeah, it is too hard to survive. Luckily, most of us, like me and my wife, we still work with the same companies that we used to work in the UK. So we are
Mm.
bringing. So that is how we are sustaining the studio. So we are at some point in time we need to do other businesses, but till then we plan to sort of self-sustain the studio no matter what happens. And during that time we also pitched to couple of we pitched to the government, and we pitched to a couple of people some ideas. So some of the works are still work in progress right now. They're still in the pitch stage. Once we complete the pitch, once we do a pilot, then the real thing will start rolling out. So you guys will probably see next year what we are doing, what we have done this year, some of the
Okay,
stuff.
so something great is on the way, right?
I think so. I don't know if it's great, but
Yeah, okay.
we'll see. So during this time, right, during this time, just before Corona happened, I mean, after the first Corona happened, we were still training, so we were okay. We came back to the studio. We thought, okay, Corona is gone. We started, working back, and then in the middle of that, during that time, I think around January, after the first wave was done, December after the first wave was done, we got a director asking us if you can do this small short animated film on Dr. Rajkumar. He's quite famous in South India, and
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I've grown up watching his films. He's no more right now, but then his films were quite iconic, when we were small. So the music that was attached to it was really really catchy. So I told the director Shashank Sogal, his name is, that let's go ahead and do this animated short film, right? The idea was he was making a live action one. Daredevil Mustafa is a live action feature film. Okay, that's the whole idea. They have a
Okay.
song in the film where they have it's a skit drama, and they have to enact that drama in the film with a song. So the director didn't want to release that, that skit drama, because I don't know how they shot it, but he wanted to make it memorable because of Dr. Rajkumar. So he asked us if we could animate it. So initially we were like, okay, what do we do? How do we do it and all that? We thought we'll do like a motion poster without actually animating, because I know animating takes a lot of time. So we gave them this idea. So he was like, no, Prajwal, can we do this? Can we try that? Can we try to animate it? I said we can't do 24 frames, because it's going to take us a really long time. We have a small team, and
Yeah.
considering the team,
How
how
many
do
members are there in the team right
we
now?
have right now 13-member team.
Oh my God. Okay.
So we are a 13-member team, and we actually honestly began the studio in 2017 with three of them.
Okay. Okay.
And you won't believe, out of three, there are two guys who cannot speak and hear.
What?
They cannot speak and they cannot hear. They have two
Oh,
disabilities.
so oh my God, this is like
So out of three, when we initially began, right? Even I was shocked initially when they came for the interview, and when I had come for the interview and all that.
yeah.
So during that time, I was shocked and I was like, "What do we do?" But then the idea was that their artwork was very good and they were very receptive for non-verbal communication. So I thought, okay, it's a challenge. If these guys can, learn, then definitely for people who speak, right, there is no doubt that they will not be able to learn. They will be able to
Yeah.
learn. So that's how we expanded the studio. Three of them came in. They started learning. They already had learned art. My idea was to just expand their knowledge from my experience. Right, I am
Okay.
no expert 2D artist or an animator. It's the experience that I carry that I could understand where they were in their art journey. That is what I could do. And I
Hmm.
also had a lot of resources, like a lot of tutorials that I had seen over my experience of 10 years. I used to follow some good artists when I've been working. So I've gave them the right resources, that the connection that they wanted. And from three artists, we went to six, and then from six we then came to 13. And 13 was the size when we started the Ninanto Yaroella animation. And the first version of the animation was was really, really, really bad. We had a lot of perspective issues. We had, so many problems with drawings. Most of it because we didn't have time. So the idea was we got the project sometime in January of 2021, I think,
Yeah.
and we were supposed to give it sometime in April on Dr. Rajkumar's birthday. So what happened was we finished. We were like going with the flow, and the director also was learning with us. As we went along, what is animation, what is studio animation, how long it takes, frame by frame drawing, and all that. It took some time for him also to understand. Right, 10 days before April 24th, the sound designer got corona, and
Yeah.
because of that the entire production, they stopped. There were lockdowns, and we took all the computers and took to everybody's houses and kept it there so that they could work from wherever they were, their houses were. So this is what happened, that the production stopped, everything stopped, and we were clueless for 2 days what's going to happen, right? Lockdown, and how everybody's going to work on the animation. So luckily, the team, like, we had these pen tablets which we went and dropped in everybody's houses, and they started working from home. So this Corona lockdown, the 2 3 months, we took it really, really seriously, and we reworked on the entire animation to try and see.
But like I was like researching your channel for a while,
Yes,
and then like as a Kannadiga, I
yes.
saw Puneet Rajkumar and I freaked out. I absolutely freaked. I'm like, oh my god, these are the people I'm going to be talking to. Oh my god, that's literally. I was so hyped,
Nice.
and yeah, like it is. Yeah, the urge to not fanboy right now is real.
Actually, the most of the credit goes to the team, because my role mostly in the film was, doing direction and art direction and guiding and corrections. I think I have given them the most corrections. So the credit really, right? I think my team really deserves the credit. And of course, Sashank, who actually asked us. Sashank is the director of another film called Daredevil Mustafa. So he came to us with the idea that, hey Prajwal, can you animate Dr. Rajkumar, because his birthday is coming up, and we have the song in our film, and if you can do something with it, something animated. So I said, okay, do you have any audio? He sent a really catchy song called Ninnanto Yaro Ilvallo. And
Oh yeah.
that song was so catchy at the first. We quickly did storyboards for it and we sent it to Sashank. And Sashank gets back like, oh, this is really good. Can you guys, do an animated film? So I said, no, we can't do an animated film. It will take long time, and it will take so much effort and all that. We can't afford to really do a short film, because we've already done a short film. We know the effort it will take us to do a 2D animated short film. So initially we said we'll do a motion poster on it. So Sashkank was like, okay, let's try it out. As and when my team started doing the backdrops and everything,
Yeah.
I was actually inspired looking at all the background. Like, the first background that we did was of the interior of the Mysore Palace, and
Oh, yes.
that was really, really brilliantly done by one of my team person. Uh,
Absolutely fabulous.
and when we saw that, I was like, convinced that definitely we should go for an animation, and to what extent we can animate, whether we can go completely 24 or we need to reduce it. That was something that we could speak to the director about, because time was an issue, and we couldn't afford to do too many drawings of 24 to make it really smooth. We had to say that, okay, this shot may require 10 frames, or 12 frames or something. So that was the only catch. If you see the entire film, you will see that it's not very smooth, and most of the feedback that we've got also is the same thing, that everybody wanted to see 24 frames flowing through. Of
Yeah.
course, even we wanted to see that, but that is what we sort of had to do it. And that's when we got convinced that, yes, we will finish this as a complete animated film. And Sashank was very excited, and he was like, "Go, you guys! I'm completely with you." He gave me full charge over directing it and then associating, the camera angles and all of it. So I took the
Yeah.
liberty of doing all the planning and laying out and getting all the storytelling and all that. So that is how we completed the entire animated short film.
So how much time did you spend on that song?
So we took almost four to 5 months to complete it. So from the initial storyboard, the initial the first pitch that we did, right, the initial storyboard to the final. If I have to break it down, the initial convincing took like two or 3 months. The final production took like 2 months, actually less
Yeah.
than that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so the big chunk of the time was back and forth, like whether this design works, whether the layout works, whether the camera angle works.
Hmm.
We actually did maybe 1 month of animation if we have to put it in numbers, right? I think we did a month of animation, a month to two, yeah, roughly around that range.
You guys work hard.
Yeah, because it was Dr. Rajkumar one. Dr. Rajkumar
Yes.
has a really, really huge fan base,
Yes.
and Shashank had already, given us a warning that you guys need to get him right.
Oh yes, absolutely.
If you get him wrong, right, the people of Karnataka are going to come after you. So I had told my team and everybody that listen, we guys have a big challenge ahead of us. First of all, we are all animating for the first time. Second of all, we have to get it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
So like, you know, Dr. Rajkumar is like the Rajnikant of Karnataka. Like he's obviously
yeah,
like a god.
yeah,
And
he
the
is.
Mysore Palace.
Yes.
I'm from Mysore and I've been to the palace like I don't know countless times.
Oh, great.
And yeah, like I'm telling
Actually,
you, the urge to fanboy.
we when there were a couple of things actually within the Mysore Palace. The actual darbar was quite narrow. So
Yeah.
I had asked my team people to make it a bit like really wide, and there were a lot of details that Sashank brought in. Like there was the sword, uh, the Wadaya's sword. I forgot what it's
Yes.
called. I don't remember it at the moment. And it had an emblem, and Sashank was very specific. Like we need that emblem there, we need the flag there, and all that. So
Yes.
some of the ideas authentic to Mysoreans, which Sakang brought in with that. And we took couple of artistic liberties like Chamundeshwari. We tried to make it as cinematic. Like one of the things that we've always seen from anime is right, like Spirited Away or
Yes.
like one of Miyazaki's films are like so good, so visually uh, like lightning. They strike you when you watch it. So one
Yeah.
of my dream was that, say, if given a choice, why can't we? Okay, forget about the animation. The animation comes later, but when you look in within the frame, it should look really, really good. That was the whole point, and we had we tried our real best in a sense. We even did 3D layout for a 2D painting. We actually did a 3D layout to try and get as much perspective as as we could to really paint. So my team really did a 3D layout, and then we did like a 2D paint over on top of it, and we tried to get a really really good looking background. That was the whole deal. So if we put a simple animation in front of it, it would still look as classy and nice as as an anime. We've actually got a lot of comments saying that it is like a Kannada anime that you guys have done. I think that has been a very big honor, for us and a team that
Yes.
so many people have recognized. Uh, See, we thought it would hit the Kannadigas, right? But then people all around, because of Hidden Caliber and because of the community that I am now aware of, which I didn't know earlier, that
Hmm.
so many people want this kind of content, and that is really motivating for us now.
Yes. I would absolutely love to see like more stuff from you guys.
Yeah, actually, one of the ideas that I have been also been sharing with my team and some of my other partners is that uh, Me and my team, we all are not that old. We are all, of course, my team is quite young. I think they are like 23, 24, most of them. So they are all from the Demon Slayer batch, is what I call them.
Yeah.
Right? Because I come from Tom and Jerry, Dexter's Laboratory, Scooby-Doo, Johnny Quest, SWAT Cats,
All the classics.
Centurions. So I come from that generation of classic. And right now I'm meeting the Demon Slayer, the Spirited Away, Mononoko, like those that batch of
Yeah.
young people. And one of the common things that I've noticed with them is that I love fights. I love epic fights. I love epic anime, cinematography, and I like their character designs and storytelling first. So that is something I really, really enjoy, and I really not dislike, but I don't see a lot of Chota Beam or Little Krishna. Like, I don't really resonate with that sort of storytelling. So
Yes.
my idea was with my team that we do something we do at the scale of more mature visualizing that that I see and that we see, more than trivializing it to children and little Krishna or Motu Patlu, because that is not resonating with us and that is not what we want to create. We want to target an audience who loves fights, who loves magic, who likes swords, guns, fast-paced action. That is what I want to see, and that is what I want to make, right? As a director.
Yes.
So if you ask what my vision is, that is my vision. Trying to create some intellectual property along those lines, because that is what I believe is what the young community of 18 to 25-year old want to see, is what I have observed. I may be wrong, I could be wrong, but you guys have to tell me
No,
what you
you
want to
aren't
say.
wrong. Like, obviously, see, um, so out of like most of us are like from my age group at least,
Right?
we are more attracted to Doraemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doraemon,
Because
Ninja.
of that nostalgia, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not only because of the nostalgia, because like even though it gets repetitive like Chota Beam, like
Hmm.
but the plot progresses.
Right.
We see like flashbacks, and then you think to yourself, okay, yeah, that did happen. They don't completely like forget about it.
Right. So
And
there were a
yeah, yeah,
couple of things that changed in the animation world from when I grew up. So
yeah,
when I was growing up, mostly the animation was like hand drawn in cells, photo
yes,
scanned, and then put into film. That is how the traditional animation, like Tom and Jerry, that's how they came up. But then
yeah.
at some point in time, Adobe bought in Flash, and
Oh yeah,
that made drawing going from pen and paper, it became digital drawings. And from that, the even the colors, right, used to be very pastel and duller, and then now it had become very striking and really strong. So also the way the animation was done using After Effects, like rigging and all that, a lot of things changed from the traditional animation. That brought about a big change in the way animation was done in India. And I'm glad that you and everybody who's watched it really subscribe to that idea and are giving us more motivation. because
absolutely.
because when we made it, right, we didn't know what would be the reaction, right? Like, it's the first time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so
So
we
there
we
are like
we didn't know.
multiple requests of dubbed content in future, like whatever you're going to do. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
So this went on the channel of Puneet Rajkumar, right, called
Yeah.
PRK Audio.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the future, what we might try to do is we will have our own channel, and then we will push it through. We'll definitely dub it in all the other languages for sure.
Yeah. That is a really good thing to do.
At the moment, I think there are subtitles, but I think uh, for some reason, people from Caliber have not seen the subtitle version of it.
Yeah. They just want to watch it in dub.
Like Hidden
Yeah,
Caliber like works so hard. He just gives everything to his audience. He just crunches every single like bit of content, right? He
yeah.
works very hard.
Actually, I had seen both the YouTubers. I had seen Hidden Caliber and Animation Vibes. I was in touch with Animation Vibes for a long time.
Yeah.
So I had pushed it to him that we are doing this animation, but it's not yet out. Whether you'll be open on, ripping it apart. And because my idea was that since it's new and we nobody knows us that much, it would be good to get feedback from those hardcore watchers, because see, we need to connect with people, right? We need to connect with you guys who
Yes.
want to see something.
Yes.
If we are always disconnected and we create something that you don't want to see, then that will never sell.
Yep.
And I,
Yes.
I believe is the best thing is to connect with your audience and to reach out. Okay, connection is one thing, but then reaching out to your audience is another thing. So I wanted to reach out to animation vibes, you guys, hidden caliber, and connect with them and understand whether good or bad, what is it that they're connecting with. And I at least got a sense and idea of what people are connecting with and what they want to see.
Yeah. It's like when passionate works like these, like I'm telling you, this is the third time, but yeah, like when you see stuff like this, for example, like in Indian animation,
Yeah.
uh, most of us know only about Chota Beam and what's the Motu Patlu, right?
Yes.
But when I was a kid, and like the cricket tension was like at the all-time high. Dhoni had just gotten the World Cup for us, and
Yeah.
everything cricket was going boom, right?
Yeah. I
So
think cricket is still dominating in India no matter what happens.
yes, but the time in 2011, 12, 13, that was,
Yeah.
I can't just put it in words.
It
So
was very electric during the World Cups and during the IPL seasons.
yes, absolutely. So as a child, like I was glued to everything cricket on
Right.
TV, and TVS and Maruti actually produced an animated show.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called
Okay.
𝗙cie the Rising Star, right?
Okay. Okay.
Now I liked it so much, even though like uh, I like so I remembered it like a few months ago, and I started like trying to find it on YouTube, and I finally found it, and I remember it much better than what like it is on YouTube. The
I think
animation is so flawed.
one of the things that I really enjoyed watching was I used to watch 𝗙ক্তিमान.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
I used to watch Captain Vyom, even though I used to watch Star Trek and I had seen so much Star Trek that so much future was in my head already. Watching Captain Vyom was really really tragic at that time, but they tried. Then there
yeah.
used to be something called Chandrakanta, if you guys remember. This was way way before. I think 25 years back, right?
Ah,
25 years back. Chandrakanta was, again, a mythology, Indian mythology drama series. It used to come on Doordarshan, I think. But the idea was that it was science fiction. Like, being a kid and you see Hanuman or, flying and, magic and all that, it feels very science fiction. And I think I had been involved in science fiction since then, no matter, whether it was a TV series or anime or cartoons or whatever. So and a lot of has changed since then. But now, sadly, the stories are not as interesting. That is, for me, the crux of the problem in the current Indian situation. That is what we want to target. Like, try to make good stories.
yes, yes. And so I was saying, right? Like this thing, Suraj the Rising Star, that
Yes.
cricket anime, and it stopped out of nowhere, right? And I was honestly kind of mad, like, and also Shaktiman. There was an animated show on Shaktiman
Yes.
that was so good as well.
Uh, I think you're talking about the English series, right? There's an English.
No, I
Uh,
think I watched it in like wait,
it
it
is
was not dubbed, was it?
so. What generally happens from from my observation into like different in the Indian context is one is that major anime, right, is above
Yeah,
18,
yeah, yeah,
right? There is a lot of nudity and not lot. There is nudity and there's words and use of bad language and all that. So for
yeah,
most part of it, it is not censored, right? It is
yeah,
shown at a very odd time, like like times when either the parents are sleeping or children are sleeping, so they don't really show it during those times. One.
Yes.
Second thing is that I was looking at all the comments because I wanted to understand, good or bad, whatever was on it. So I came across RG bucket list, which was quite good. Like, for a guy who's animating, that guy is doing amazing. That's so good. And I like, he has so many subscribers and people watching. So that is an essence of what good work and good inspiration can do. So during those comments, I also saw this Karam Chakra
Studio.
by
The surprising part is he's a like solo creator and like
Exactly.
yeah.
yeah,
And
that is the skill set of like really a good master, understanding storytelling and animation and all of that.
yes, like as a kid, like I wanted to be an animator because I watched Tokyo Ghoul, and
Uh-huh.
the final scene where he fights the antagonist had me
Yeah.
sold. I'm like, I'm becoming an animator.
Actually,
Meanwhile,
if
my
you look at animation, right, there are different categories of animation. You
yes,
have the 2D animation, you have the 3D animation, and you have like a mixed hybrid version of it. So if
yes,
you go to any market, right, the first thing the channels are going to be looking at is like Cartoon Network or Pogo or anybody. They're going to be like trying to understand, you know, how can I buy this IP, and how many episodes can you do, right? So if you have a team of say 100, then probably you could churn out one season, in a year, like a 24 episode in a year, if you have a really good team. So what happens is for smaller teams, it becomes difficult to produce animation content and then churn them out as and when the broadcasters want to broadcast it. If you take an example of say something like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z has already been done for a long time. So they have a
Yeah.
collection of episodes that they can sell, to somebody. That is the advantage of the existing content. So for new content creators like us, we need time to create it, to develop it, and that takes a year or two to sort of produce it, and then sell it, and then see if it's a viable thing. That's why even before doing 24 episodes, you do one really good episode and you sell it well.
yeah,
So our idea of doing Ninanto Yaro Ilvalo was like to really understand what is the style that we would like to take, and then what is the impact that the style is going to have, and how much time and money in terms of cost it would be to create something like this. So that was the main intention, and learning after doing this animated film.
that that intention really sold. It was no,
So
it's fine.
where do you see this studio in like 5 to 6 years? Like what are your like immediate projects?
So we are currently doing a couple of service-based projects. Like we are working on, two or three Kannada films, and we are doing one Tulu film, the local Mangalorean language called Tulu. We are doing
Hmm.
one Tulu film and then couple of Kannada films. And in these films, we are doing mostly compositing and 3D and all that work. Like there are like couple of live action and CG compositing shots. So for
Yeah,
most of this cash flow ways, right? We are trying to service the industry like that, just for the studio to get work. And side by side, we are developing a couple of scripts, our own scripts, which have a lot of local, content and influence. And we
Hmm.
are trying to create episodes out of it, right? For like say 10 minutes or 20 minutes, we are trying to develop a script, and then from the script we develop visuals, and then we animate them. So that is what we are doing. We have a couple of 2 or 3 projects. We also have an idea to do a graphic novel and push it out in through Amazon sometime this year, just so that
nice.
we create a community of people who also read the visuals that we want to create. So we get an idea along, because if we create something and if it doesn't connect with people, it will be very difficult. So right now, we really didn't have a fan base before the film. Right now,
Yeah,
slowly we are finding a community of people like you guys, contacted us. Now we've sort of connected, and whenever we push out content from now onwards, we'll probably, will ask you guys to have a look and all that, or,
Yeah.
for
Yes.
feedback, whatever. So your community will also be able to give feedback and also consume the stuff that we make. So that is what our intention is. We want to, do really good work, and then, push it out to people out there who want to consume it. Before, there was a question mark whether there is a market and whether there is a
Mm.
group of people who want to watch it. Right now, it is like all ticked off that there is a market, there are certain people, there's a certain generation waiting out there to consume the next Demon Slayer or something like that.
The Demon
Yeah,
Slayer
at this time.
generation, as you said it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very crazy generation. Like, I don't get Demon Slayer in terms of story, but the action is, superb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still like Full Metal Alchemist. It's one of my favorite animes.
Okay.
Apart from Dragon Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto is there down somewhere. A lot of Miyazaki's film, artistic sense that Japanese and Chinese is really above the roof,
Yes.
right? Because they've done so much of artwork, animated artwork. For us to do that level is probably going to take some time to do at the level at which they have done.
Yeah, and these movies, right? They're like so timeless. Like,
Yes.
even the one
The-
day you wake up 20 years later and you still like see Totoro and you're like, okay, damn, I might watch this again.
yeah, it's like one of those uh, timeless pieces, right? No matter it's uh, one of the timeless piece for me is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, right?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
If I watched it when I was 12, 13, I think, or 14, I've watched it around 1,000 times, from then till now. And I can still watch it as a novice audience and just feel through the entire film, right? I know all the
Yes.
dialogues of the film. I
I
know
won't
every
be surprised. It
word,
was that good of a
every
movie.
scene, yes, so good. Something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yes,
So about this thing. So like anime, like Hayao Miyazaki, like obviously a legend, a
yes.
living legend. So what about Makoto Shinkai? He's like a living prodigy right now.
I think the artists around the world, like, there are so many artists, like creating artwork all the time.
Yeah.
Most of them, like, what do I say? Like, we need to create that sense here in India. That is what we need to do at the moment. Like, the local artists here are not being developed as much as artists outside. That is something that we really should probably focus on. A major problem is when you're in school, right, or college, um, animation is not defined as uh, uh, what do you say? It's not defined as something of a career that you can get into after you study and graduate. Like, we have a person who has done mechanical engineering and completed his mechanical engineering, has got really good marks, and he was confused whether he wanted to take up art or no as a career. So, we had a discussion, and I had told him that, he could take a time off, like 6 months to a year, and really test out, whether if it worked, he could really get into this side, or, he has the marks, he could definitely do something related to engineering. But
Yeah.
because he took the advice, he took some time off, he concentrated on his artwork, and he's at a studio right now. His name is Karthik.